Hey everyone, so in today's video I did a pretty massive declutter of all of my highlights that I own. I pretty much decluttered half of my collection. If you're new to my channel, I love a natural, dewy, plump look to my skin, and I like highlights that give a nice sheen, but they don't look too apparent. But that being said, I do have a pretty wide range of highlights from creams, liquids, powders that all give a different look to the skin. So no matter what your preference, you could probably find something that you like in this video. And I will be telling you what I didn't like, what I loved about all of these different products. If you have any questions about the specific products, definitely leave them in the comments down below and I'd be happy to help. And if you're new to my channel, I would hope that you would subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if it ends up being helpful. So make sure you do that. I would love to have you back on my channel. And with all of that, let's jump into the video. So the first product we'll be talking about is the good old Becca Champagne Pop. I really love this product and I've used it for many a year, probably at least 2 years now, and you can see I definitely have a decent dent in it. It's really hard for me to even do a dent like this in a highlight period. It's probably the most used highlight I have. I really enjoy the formula of Becca's highlights, but this is the best color in my opinion. It's the most unique. I think it's flattering on a lot of different skin tones. I'm pretty fair and I feel like I can still pull this off and wear it. It's a beautiful mix between a highlight that really pops, but it also doesn't look too stark on the skin. It blends into the skin really well. So I think this is still a very unique product. I still love it and wear it quite often. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Another classic, especially on YouTube, is the Mary Luminizer from the Balm. This is my second. So the first one, I actually had a pretty decent dent in it. It was maybe the first highlight that I ever tried, at least powder highlight. And it was beautiful and I wore it quite often. Then my sister wanted to use it and I told her to just take it. Then a couple weeks later, I reached into my makeup drawer and I missed it. So I bought this one. And now, as you can see, I've used like none of it. So not a great thing for me to do. I should have just let her have it and let it be. But I know that someone else would really love this because the product's good. It has a nice sheen to it. It's good for a reason. So I'm going to be giving this one away. A product that a lot of people have been talking about is this Marc Jacobs eyeshadow in Prim-O. And everyone says that this is, you know, one of their favorite highlights. I really enjoy it. I think that I was a little bit skeptical, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, because it's pretty thick. It's, you know, an eyeshadow, so that's what you kind of expect, that the product's going to be a little bit thicker. It's not formulated for the face, so that scared me. But when used with a very light hand, this looks really pretty. It can look textured if you use too much, like you would expect, but I do really like it, so I will be keeping it. Product that I was told to also use as a highlight is this Starlight powder from Makeup Forever. This is in the shade 13. On the face, this to me does not work well. It looks very textured on my skin, so instead I'm going to be moving it to where all of my eyeshadows are and hopefully get more use out of it from there. And if I don't, then I'll get rid of it. But for now, I will not be keeping it with all of these guys. Speaking of Becca Champagne Pop, so I also have a full size waiting for me. Got this from the Point Perks from Sephora, but this little travel size Champagne Pop I also have, and it's shattered, obviously. I don't even know why they bother making travel sizes because our products are known to shatter, so I don't know why they even bother making these small ones. But to be honest, it's hard because I repressed this and it didn't give me the same look now that the original pressed version does. So I think I'm going to be giving this away. Let's talk about my Hourglass highlights. So I have this palette, the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting palette, and then I have the regular Ambient Strobe Lighting palette from Hourglass. I apologize, these look much dirtier than they actually are just because of the packaging, but This is a chalky mess. I have an entire video about this one. This was limited edition. I don't want to stay here for too long because I love this so much, but you can't get it. But this formula is available in some of their holiday palettes that they recently released. So definitely try those out. This formula is probably my favorite highlight formula, period. I mean, just look at that. The shine is so beautiful. It's not too dramatic. It just is very silky on the skin. In my video, when I talked about the Hourglass Metallic Strobe Lighting Palette, I mentioned how much I disliked this, and then I kept it. Like, what? I mean, I'm just gonna throw it away. Two Colourpop highlights that I'm giving away is Lunch Money and Here Kitty Kitty. This has barely been touched, and I haven't even put it in a palette, so you can tell that, I mean, it's pretty, it's nice, but I just know that I'm not getting the use that someone else could get out of it. Lunch Money actually got a decent amount of use out of. I'm probably just going to throw this one away because I've had it for quite a while, but it's pretty, it's really creamy, a great everyday natural highlight. It's a nice satin glow, but if I'm being honest, I just feel like I kind of want more from it. Another highlight I'll be giving away is this Ofra highlight in Rodeo Drive. This was very well loved in the summer months when I first got it. I actually got, you know, a pretty good amount of use out of this one. And the color is gorgeous, especially if you have darker skin than me. And that's the problem, is that most of the year I can't wear this because it just looks a little bit too dark on me. So though I love it, I love the look and the quality of the actual product, I just know that someone else could get more use out of this. My sister, when she gets tan in the summer, she would look great in this. A product that I will obviously be keeping. If you watched my 2018 beauty favorites video, I will leave that link down below. But if you watched that video, you know I really, really love the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. And I hate the packaging, but the product itself, this is my favorite cream highlight, liquid highlight that I've ever used. It goes on the skin like butter. It never feels sticky. The glow that it gives is absolutely beautiful. It looks like really beautiful, dewy, glass-like skin. It's just everything that I want. It's just enough so that I could use it at night if I wanted to, if I wanted a really beautiful, dewy look. But it's also great for daytime. So it's a really versatile, beautiful product. There isn't one as good as this out there that I have tried. So though I hate the packaging, I hate how little product you get for the money, all these reasons, I still reach for it because the formula is just really beautiful. An underrated product that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is the Smashbox LA Lights Blendable Lip and Cheek Color. This is the highlight shade in Hollywood Highlight. This is one of my absolute favorite cream highlights. I like this if I want a dewy look on my cheeks. The color is beautiful. The way it looks on the cheeks is really nice. It's a pretty affordable product when you think about it because you get so much product in here. I mean, I could just keep going. This, and I've used this consistently for like 2 years and I still have that much product. So you're not gonna go through this, but it's just a really, really beautiful look to the skin. It's great too because it does set down a little bit. If you want to skip the sort of dewy, like glossy cheek look, because you don't like the feeling of a gloss on your cheeks, but you want that look, I would go with something like this. And also I would go with the next product I'm talking about, which is the Becca Glow Glaze Stick. I will be keeping the Smashbox, by the way, obviously. This is basically a face gloss in a tube, in my opinion. It does have a little bit of this yellow iridescence to it, but I can't really see it on my skin. This is just a more wearable, very convenient face gloss, in my opinion. If you want to leave the house with no makeup on, throw this on your cheekbones. It's just going to look like your skin is in great condition and it's super plump and dewy. I really like this. It's definitely not for everyone, like for sure not for everyone, but if you want that more undone skincare, my skin just looks like this sort of look, I would recommend it. Another one I'm giving away is the Wet n Wild Cushion. This one's nice and I do like the texture because It's a cushion, which, you know, cushion products are usually a little bit thinner, so they blend onto the skin better. And this one is pretty, but it's just a little bit, it's not giving me enough, to be honest. There are other products I always reach for before this. This is the Flesh Beauty Startle highlight. This is the cream product. This is great if you want more icy cream highlight. I really like this because it's great for travel. It's small, it's compact, and I plan on getting a lot more use out of this this winter while my skin is still very, very fair. Another product very similar to that Flesh highlight is this Pearl cream color base from MAC. This one is a little bit more yellow than that is, and I really like this. It's not, I don't think it's like the end all be all like it used to be, because it is a little bit thicker, and I do find that if you wear too much of it, it does look a little bit more apparent on the skin, but I do like it. Maybe I'll see if any of my friends actually want this, because though I do really love it and love the way it looks on my skin, I prefer something a little bit thinner that blends into the skin better. Like, though these are both cream products, this is thicker than this Smashbox. So I will be seeing if any of my friends would like this. A product I'm giving away because it's pretty much expired is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the Pearl. This was, again, another one of my first highlights that I ever used, and this is great for the body. This is just so old now that I don't necessarily feel comfortable putting this on my face. And I think when this started to go bad, I should have just thrown away when I saw it turning. Now it's just kind of sad. A highlight that I will be keeping is my Burberry 001 highlight. I feel like this might have been limited edition. I'm not positive, but this is like the iciest of icy highlights. But with a very light hand, this is absolutely beautiful on the skin. You can see it's very icy. I'm actually gonna start getting a little bit more use out of this. I haven't picked it up in a while. So these are 3 cream highlights that I'm going to be passing on. So the Clinique Chubby Stick, this one is nice, but it's not as good as the Smashbox in my opinion. It has a pinkier color to it. This is really pretty. Like, I would recommend, if you're looking at it, I think it's a good product, but I just don't get a lot of use out of it, especially because I lost the cap. So I'm going to be passing this along to maybe someone that doesn't care about that. For me, it's just not as sanitary. Actually, you know, now that I think about it, I'm probably gonna throw this away. I'm going to be giving away the Benefit High Beam. This is a really pretty pinky liquid highlight, and it looks great. I just find that I like other products more. Like, if I have the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand, I know I'm going to use that over this, so I'm going to be passing this along. Same thing with the Becca Opal Shimmering Skin Perfector. I just feel like someone else could get more use out of this. Nothing wrong with the product, and it looks great to mix into foundations, just like the Pearl version. I just know that I'm not really reaching for this. A product I'm going to be giving away is the MAC Double Gleam Highlight. This is a beautiful product, but to me it's inconsistent. Sometimes it looks too textured on my skin. Other times it looks really beautiful, which sucks. It sucks because I just know me. If a product isn't consistent, I'm not going to be wearing it and not going to continue to use it. So I'm going to pass this along. Maybe someone else finds that it's more consistent on their skin. Next, we have the Dior Nude Air Luminizer in the shade 001. This is an all-time favorite highlight for me. The color itself is so unique. You can see I've used quite a bit of it. Immediately it looks champagne, but when you look at it closer and in the light, it has that really pretty peach pink color to it. So a couple of highlights that I recently did a comparison video on is the Nars Super Radiant Booster and the Marc Jacobs Do You Dewdrops. If you want to see that comparison video, I'll leave it linked down below. Basically, the gist for me is that they're both really good. This is a little bit more intense. This to me blends into the skin a little bit better. So if you want a more skin-like look, go with this. But if you've been trying to find a more intense liquid highlight that doesn't look too stark or weird, this one is also really good. So I'm going to be keeping both of these. A couple more cream highlights I'm going to be getting rid of is the Glossier Haloscope in Moonstone, and then the Hello Fab Mango Butter Stick. So starting with the Glossier, everyone loves this, right? I love it too. I love the way it looks on my skin. It really is almost like that face gloss sort of look, really pretty skin look, but this has coconut oil in it, I believe. And that breaks me out. And I recently retried this. I tried the Glossier Haloscope years ago, and obviously at that time I also loved it, but I noticed that my skin started, my cheeks started getting clogged pores. I tried this again recently, the same thing started happening. So unfortunately, the formula on this just doesn't work well for me. And that's me being completely honest. You know, I am a Glossier rep, so this is just my honest opinion about it. The Hello Fab Mango Butter Stick, this like does absolutely nothing for me. And at the time, I was like, oh, that's kind of different. You know, if you want a super subtle look, I'm kind of over that idea. Like, this just to me does nothing. Like, it's not that it's a subtle, pretty highlight. It's just that there isn't enough pigment to it. It's not giving me enough. Both of these are going to be given away. An affordable highlight that I love is this Molten Rose Gold Master Chrome highlight from Maybelline. This one is so pretty. When I started to feel this like for the first time between my fingers, the texture is super thick. And I was like, this is gonna look crepey, cakey on my skin. But with a light hand, this can give you a really, really beautiful highlighted look. It is very metallic. You can build it up to give you that like Instagram highlight if you're into that. Personally, I'm not, but with a light hand, this is really, really pretty. A product that I really love for a subtle highlight is the Lorac Starlight highlight. I feel like this is what Hourglass wanted their ambient strobe lighting powders to be. It's such a refined highlight. This is kind of the highlight that you can wear in an interview to work. These are really, really beautiful, thin, lightweight powders that give light to the cheekbones without it looking very obvious, without it looking too textured. So I will be keeping this. The product I also will be keeping is this Liquid Glow from Anastasia. I have the shade Perla, and this is beautiful if you enjoy a very dewy, fresh, I'm sorry, we're like nearing the end of this video, and I feel like at this point everyone's like, okay, stop with the dewy, glossy words. Is really beautiful, and I find that on my skin it almost sets down a little bit once it's on the skin. It's really pretty. I just haven't been getting a lot of use out of it recently. Like, it's very, very pretty. I feel like this is somewhere in between the Charlotte Tilbury and the Marc Jacobs coconut. You don't need all three of those. I just am a crazy person. So I will be keeping this. I hope that I can get a little bit more use out of it. I have this little Cover FX Moonlight custom cover drop sample that is completely dried up. So I'm just going to slowly throw this away. I also have this Becca Vanilla Quartz highlight. Oh my God. See, this is why I have a love-hate relationship with Becca highlights, because they are so freaking fragile. To me, there's no point in making these travel size because, I mean, no one's going to take this traveling because it's so fragile. Anyway, I really love the color. It's a vanilla yellow shade that is absolutely beautiful on the skin. Looking at my hands, I've been swatching so much. So this is really pretty. I would recommend it. I like Champagne Pop more, but this is probably better for very, very fair skin tones. All right, aside from this one. All right, these are the highlights that I'm going to be giving away and throwing away. I feel really good about this. I think this is 18 highlights that I'm getting rid of. And then these are the highlights that I'm keeping. So pretty much down the middle, maybe a little bit more than down the middle, but I'm really pleased with what I have now because I know I'm actually going to use these products. So I hope that this video was helpful, and if it was, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. That always really, really helps me out, and I would love to have you back on the channel. So make sure to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in my next one.